Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
Yeah. If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Yeah. Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of the Massenomics podcast. I'm your host, Tyler. Next to me is Tommy.
What's up?
And over there is Tanner.
Hello.
So this week we have a lot of big stuff that we've been planning.
The list is really...
Well, I got several pages worth of...
Yeah, now that we got that 2-year episode out of the way, we can really get back into what we've always wanted to do.
Which is really, really preparing for these shows.
For the last 2 years, I've been saving all my political opinions.
This is your manifesto?
Well, that's why I figured year 3 is when you start
when you really start
in.
We're going to draw some lines in the sand.
Me and Tanner have... Tyler, I don't know, have you seen this Wild Wild Country on Netflix?
No,
I
but
told
we
him
are,
about it.
we are up to date on...
Have you watched the whole thing?
Oh, yeah, I finished it.
Yeah.
And my first thing was, how have I not heard of this?
That's what everyone has said. Like, how have I not heard about this?
Like, how have you not heard about the documentary? How have you not heard about
This movement?
Yeah, this whole thing that happened.
Yeah. But in my, I guess to show how much of an idiot I am, I had never heard of Jonestown either.
Oh,
I
really?
did.
Yeah, I did.
I knew
I mean, that's where Drink the Kool-Aid comes from.
Is that what that is?
Yeah,
okay.
Like you really drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Like,
I think there still is a really good, comprehensive Jonestown documentary on Netflix that's worth watching.
I'm sure. I actually should watch that.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
That was the interesting one. Where hundreds and hundreds of people just killed themselves.
What Wild Wild Country is just such a cool, in my opinion, such a cool made documentary too. The subject is cool and everything too, but I really liked the documentary.
Yeah, just to fill people in a little bit, Wild Wild Country, it's this documentary on Netflix. It's 6 parts, hour long each, and it's about this Indian guru, Indian guru that kind of starts his religion, spirituality thing and starts to gain a lot of momentum with it and decides to move, this is in the 80s, move this movement to America, and they buy 60,000 acres or 6,000 acres?
No, it was like 60,000.
I was saying that number sounded wrong, but yeah.
I did the math on square miles, and it would be I can't remember now, but it was 12 miles wide by 10 miles. 10 by 12 miles.
So they move this whole thing out to the middle of nowhere in Oregon, and they just start kind of taking stuff over and really flexing their muscle on the people of Oregon. And I don't want to say too much because it'll give it away. But the other thing is that makes it cool is they filmed. They kind of had their own media crew, so they filmed everything they did. So we're saying the early 80s, and you would think well, it's going to be a lot of just people talking at the camera, but it's mostly the footage from then that they use.
And that's the craziest part to me, and I probably watched 3/4 of the first episode until I was wait a second, why is this all on video? It's not they. I get they decided to make this documentary, but then I'm where did they get all this video from?
Who went back in time?
Who the hell was shooting that? Everything's on video, and it'd be right now if someone did a documentary on your life, and somehow there was video footage of every single thing that ever happened.
Well, it'd be if someone did it on the early days of Massenomics, and someone in 20 years would be who the hell would be recording all this? Oh my God, those morons recorded themselves this whole time.
And why have we never heard of it?
I think that's what most people say when they hear about us is, well, why haven't we heard of them?
And then they do a little look. They do a little looking, and then they're oh,
that's why.
That's why I haven't heard of that.
Okay. Yep.
So that's our recommendation for the week.
Our pick for the week
is watch that.
Well, and then while we're on that topic, Westworld starts again pretty soon here too.
Oh, when?
Super
in a week or two.
Cool.
April around the 20th.
Somewhere in there.
Weeks, yeah.
420 probably.
Ooh. Yeah. So
So that'll be another one that they can totally go anywhere they want with the show because they open it up to anything being possible for anything. So
Yeah.
I'm totally into that show. Did you
Yeah.
watch it? You watched that, Tanner, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah, I dig it.
Just a second. I've got a call I got to take.
Is it Larry?
Oh, I was really hoping we'd get
So we're going to talk.
Larry
We're
part
going to give
two.
you guys a little bit of a background into what we do preparation-wise for this show. So, obviously, we have production meetings that go on most of the day long before we record. It takes 6 to 8 hours going over topics,
the
subjects.
brainstorming sessions.
The interns, they have mostly bad ideas, but we got to diffuse all that without
Yep.
making them feel stupid, even though they're really, really stupid.
Yep.
And then basically we show up here, having dismissed all of the interns' ideas. We
with
have-
our much more superior ideas.
yeah, which usually means we come in empty-handed, almost always.
Yeah.
And we sit down and we go, what are we going to talk about today? And then that turns into, well, I don't know. And then from there it goes into, well, what are we going to start with?
Well,
Let's just start.
Yep. And then once that topic's down, we follow it up with the kind of the
Mostly
the
dick
slogan
jokes.
for the show. Just keep it fast and loose. You know?
So today Tanner goes, well, I did have a thing, which is rare that there be a thing.
Yeah.
But what he did was whipped out, I'm looking at like fucking 40 pages.
Yeah, that's a lot of paper for us.
But he wouldn't even let us look at it.
That's
before
actually
we
probably
started.
more paper than we've ever had on the show ever.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. But
Maybe he just figured out how to use the printer at work, and he's kind of just trying to show off that
I
he's.
have a Wi-Fi printer at my gym.
Yeah.
That works, and I'm not exaggerating, 25% of the time.
I know exactly what you're saying because my printer at home was a Wi-Fi printer, and the time I set it up, the Wi-Fi worked, and after I didn't use it for 5 minutes, the Wi-Fi quit working. I Googled it. Everyone said that's pretty much the problem, and so now I have to go over and plug into it every single time.
See, and my problem is at my gym, I have a fucking it's just like a Chromebook because all I run the sales stuff through is just you just don't need anything but a web browser.
Yeah.
Those don't have fucking Ethernet ports to plug into a printer. So I have to, anytime I have a thing to print, I have to drag my laptop from home all the way down there like a homeless person carrying a laptop around.
Yep.
But, yeah.
I was going to ask you, Tyler. I just got a message from a fellow competitor from the last USAPL meet I did, and I didn't touch on this. I feel kind of sheltered that I've never experienced this before. Have you ever ate at a Brazilian grill?
Yes.
God,
Didn't you guys go
in
after
Sioux Falls. I did for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And I knew what it was. I knew they just brought a lot of meat around.
Yeah.
But I never got to experience
You didn't realize that was all of it.
that. Is it?
Yep.
These are guys bringing meat around.
When we went, one of the places we went to when we stayed in Mexico, they're it's like an all-inclusive resort, but they have also like a Brazilian place like that.
Uh-huh.
So when it's free, also,
Yeah,
you're like, well, I guess we're going here every fucking
we're gonna
day.
do some damage.
And so you go in there, and there was there's like a salad bar where you just go by and you're like, no, I know what I'm here for. And what they do it on purpose. They bring you the cheapest meat first, and then they'll finish with lamb and filet and all this other stuff. But they come out and it's if you're hungry, they're like, you want some ham? And you're like, no, I don't want any fucking ham.
Yeah.
What's next? And then they're like, well, how about chicken? I'm like, fucking $2 a pound. Let's keep it moving. Give me a little chicken.
I got some finer taste
but
here.
Keep it moving. Can't be filling up on chicken. And then they're like, flank steak. And I'm like, oh, fuck. All right, a little.
Warming up.
Yeah, you're getting me. Yeah, you're speaking my language a little bit. And then the good shit starts rolling out. And then you hit them hard.
Yeah.
And the problem is you got to they want to give you the littlest toppings or the littlest portion size as possible. And you got to really dig in your heels. No. More.
And that's where I have to. We went with Austin. He was kind of our tour guide for this experience. We're talking about going to Carnival and have you ate at a Brazilian grill?
No.
Okay.
No. That's where they
meat on a stick.
And I have to give Austin props for being our tour guide on this experience because he's like, I had a habit of eating here almost once a week, I think he said, for quite a while, that's an expensive habit. But he's like, when they bring stuff around, he's like, you don't want that. Don't. So you just say no to that one.
Yeah.
And then he's like, when they come with this one, you're going to want more of that. So they'd cut you off a piece and you'd be like, another one. And just keep, and just letting them keep going with
DJ
it.
Khaled.
Yeah. Another one. Yeah.
You don't
So,
let them off the hook easily.
Yeah, and they were like happy to hook you up, but that was a real game changer experience for me. So.
And one of the things we had when we were there was like they had in the salad bar, what's the fucking meat where it's like really super super cured? It's like steak. Is it or is it?
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking like prosciutto, but isn't that a pork
it's
thing?
charcuterie.
Something like that. But anyway, they had it like on a fucking block, so it looked like a giant cold ribeye on the deal, but with some weird tint to it. Mm-hmm. So my buddy, not the brightest guy in the world, is like, "Oh, it's like fucking steak or something." So he saws off. He saws off like a fucking 1-inch slab of this thing, and he starts. And we get back to the table, and he starts eating. He's like, "I don't know. It's like it tastes a lot like cheese." It's like some like heavily cured meat that is definitely meant to be eaten in slivers.
Yeah,
and he's sitting there like fucking got like forks full of the shit.
So he finished it, but
he doesn't let anything go to waste.
Yeah, but no. So they'll come by and you have to keep digging in, or at least at the place we went to, because they do. There's like a rotation, right? Like let's say they bring out 8 different meats. Mm-hmm. 1 is the cheapest, 8 is the best. When they get to 8, usually what they do then is they bring around 1 again, and then you're like,
and you give them the quick, out of here.
No. But then you sit. And you take. So you really want to get all your work done on that first pass.
Yeah. You just got to tell them to load you up the first time, and then you can kind of gauge it from there.
So Tanner, we told them about how prepared you were for this week's episode. What did you bring into the party?
I printed something out. So I've got
printer.
We've covered this already while you were gone.
You already did the whole thing.
The printing and the number of papers, and
we didn't even read it.
Two articles. One's on my phone, and this one, they're both related to each other in one way or another, but. This one I have printed on paper is called Choosing Conventional or Sumo Based on Bone Structure. And there's a couple things you measure, and it gives you ratios and tells you whether you're more suited for sumo.
Should we measure?
Yeah.
Right now? Did you bring one? Otherwise,
the old measuring with your friends. Oh!
We're not doing dicks today, guys.
This other one's called Picking the Squat That's Right for You. And so the deadlift one is talking about your torso length and your arm length.
I want to say right now, without knowing, actually, I want to find out for sure. I'm very excited to find this out.
And the squat one is talking about your femur length relative to the rest of
I
your
believe
body.
I have a long torso.
So
I'm calling that right
I
now.
also believe that I have a long torso.
So we'll
compared to the general population, or in proportion.
I don't think I have very long arms nor legs, and yet I'm long.
So I'll measure. I'm going to measure Tommy first
not
as
that
you guys
long,
keep
but
talking.
All right.
And I haven't measured myself.
My pants do come off or not for this part?
I think you can just keep sitting. Keep sitting for a second and just stick one of your arms.
He's going to crawl under the table.
I also
maybe straight in front of you.
I also believe I have shorter arms for being 6'1". And then we also have to assume that Tanner knows how to properly measure.
And I don't.
And he does not.
I glanced at the article. So that's 28 and a half.
That's from my, would you say the end of my collarbone?
The bony structure at the end of your shoulder. Did that feel like where I was measuring it?
To the tip
end
of my
your
finger.
Middle finger.
Yep.
28 and a half.
28 and a half, that's the magic number?
Yep.
I'll write that down.
Are you writing it down or
I'll
I should?
write it down. Tommy?
Did you bring a pen, Tanner?
I don't have pens.
No, I didn't.
show's
do that.
falling
I
apart
didn't
already.
Get that far. So, and then we need to divide that by your height. So 28 and a half inches divided by
6'1". How many inches is
73.
that? 73. Okay. 28 and a half. And I'm also on 8% battery, so this is really going.
really.
Fortunately, I think the iPhone can handle that with very little processing
My-
power.
the calculator
I'm still
app.
on an iPhone 6, so a calculator, I believe,
Might
is
be
usually most.
pushing it.
Okay, you said 28 and a half divided by 73.
Yep.
I have a 0.39.
So 0.39 average is 38%. So you are
Pretty average.
slightly long.
Slightly long. Wow.
Pretty average. Yeah.
In the arms?
Pretty average.
Okay.
Very close to
A
average.
percent away from being.
Slightly long. And
Okay.
what just the arms tells you is, well, actually we don't know because I need the torso bit of that too.
Okay.
So help me
Let's put Tommy's arms on my torso. Go.
So the way the torso is measured is from the bony prominence on the side of your thigh.
On the side of your
It's me right here. Basically,
Okay.
like your hip protrusion.
To the top of your head. So
so
thigh.
like the top of my hip bone,
No,
or
I think thigh, like
so like
stand
where?
up, like your actual hip joint, not your pelvis.
Okay.
So you'll probably have to stand up for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'll give the play-by-play. So I
I
think it's like here
they said the bony prominence.
on the thigh.
Okay.
Right? Doesn't that seem about right?
know.
And this isn't super scientific.
This is super scientific, Tanner said.
I would say that's 35 and a half.
35 and a half.
Divided that by your height.
You know what I mean? Because this wouldn't be your thigh. You wouldn't consider that your thigh. But I would consider that to be it.
That makes sense to me. I'll
Probably.
buy that argument.
Also, because if that's the I mean, that's where you're going to be hinging at.
So 35 and a half.
divided by 73.
I'm at 48.6.
Okay, average is 47. So you
I'm
are
slightly longer.
Slightly long. You are slightly long on both. So we've got. I'll say average and average first. If we say that you're average arms and average torso, guess what the answer is?
Conventional.
Either.
Right. Yeah.
So the choices are either sumo or conventional. There is no neither. I guess I guess in some.
Well, we haven't seen my measurements. Yeah, that might be. Don't fucking deadlift.
So that's
dude.
average and average. If we say you have long arms and long torso, which you're probably average and average.
yeah,
then,
I
I
think I'm
guess
closer to average.
would
than long.
also be either.
Okay.
So I guess where you get into where they're defining one is if one is, I would say, drastically short and one is drastically long.
Yeah.
If they're both drastically long, it's going to be either still. But if one's short and one's long, then that's probably where we'll get a difference here.
All right,
So
do
I'll
me.
measure Tyler now. First, put your arm out and we'll
Okay.
check the arm.
Tommy, tell them the story.
All right. So Tanner is coming in. He's whispering in Tyler's ear. Very sexual already.
32.
32.
And are you 6'6"?
Yeah.
78. 32 divided by 78.
Okay.
Tanner on the numbers over here.
Jesus, he must be some
He's
sort
been
of
training
math
his
whiz.
whole life for this.
All right, I
one
forgot the
podcast
numbers. Already. So
moment.
32 divided by 78.
Yeah.
41.
Ooh,
So
that's
you're-
long.
Yeah, you're.
But that's compared to nothing else.
Yeah. So just arms.
just relative.
Arms, they say average is 38. So it says long. Now we'll do your
Torso.
Your bony protrusion.
You touch what you feel like your bony protrusion is on your torso.
All right. Tanner is moving in on Tyler's bony protrusion. He's going full extension on the tape measure. And
It's kind of hard because it's not like even across. I have to go over to your head, but
he's
I guess there you go.
working a precise measurement
That's
here.
37.
37.
Yeah.
Tyler has a 37 measurement.
41 divided by 37.
No,
No,
it's
37
just divided by 78 again.
37 divided by 78. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So they're both in relation to your overall height. Your arms in relation.
47.4.
So that is average. They say is 47. So your
So I'm just average.
Kinda just
average
average.
torso, according to our terribly scientific measuring. So that says average torso and possibly long arms. They say conventional.
That's why I'm such a tremendous.
Yeah.
That's why I'm such a tremendous conventional deadlifter.
All right. Would you prefer inches or centimeters?
All right.
Centimeters makes me feel better about myself.
I think that's where we were wrong. Is this whole thing supposed to be in centimeters?
You are 29 and a half.
29 and a half for Tanner
And I'm
on the arms.
74. So
If his hands were regular size, it would be 31.
I lose another inch and a half. So 29 and a half, you said?
Yep.
And I'm 74. So that's 40. So my arms are
Little
on the long side. Yep.
Long and strong.
Where's the bony protrusion?
So now they're digging for Tanner's bony protrusion. I think they found it.
You have to kind of.
That is a little tricky.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so sizing it up, I'd say
What do we got here?
about 30,
We got 30,
34 and a quarter, 34 and a half.
34 and a half.
34 and a half.
That is 34 and a half on the torso.
34.5.
For those of you listening at home.
divided by 74, 46, which is average or on the short torso side of it.
Oh.
Just barely. So
that's
short
why deadlifts are so
torso
easy for you.
and long arms would be conventional. So we have no
you're a
no
cheater.
sumo.
So you're genetically you're cheating.
So we're all
Tanner's just naturally pulling off blocks.
on the torso. We were all very, very close to the average,
Yeah.
like within a percent of the average. We had more
Variance on
variance
arms.
on the arm length,
Yeah.
according to that method. So the real question was, not so much the measuring here and what we determined, but like if that is meaningful.
If we were surprised by anything.
Yeah, if that means that much, or like
I don't know. Well, here's the better question: is anyone over 6'1"? Like, I'm legit wondering: is anyone over 6'1" like a well-known sumo puller?
God, I don't know. See, but I also, but I think it was kind of from people who don't know. Who are like, oh, well, you're tall and you suck at deadlifting, so maybe you should try sumo. Whereas I think the solution would be you should try harder at deadlifting.
Yeah.
Because that's basically because I tinkered with sumo and it's too much to do it right. There's just way too much of a mobility requirement to do that. Like
I think
that's
that
the thing
is,
people
yeah.
don't forget. Like, yeah, you could hinge your fucking sumo, I guess. And then you know what I mean? Like, and a lot of people do that. You see that.
Yeah,
People get
sit
a
back
sumo
into
and all they do is fucking conventional deadlift with a wide stance and a narrow grip.
Yep.
And that's really not the fucking point.
right.
Whereas like Yuri Belkins is that's what sumo is supposed to look
Yeah.
like. Upright torso, shins near vertical. You're just basically fucking jumping. And
How tall is Kaler Woolham?
I can't tell.
I don't.
I'm not sure. He's
like,
really lanky.
He's so lanky. In my head, he's 6'3", but
Yeah.
I bet his arm, average is 38 on this, and we were a little on both sides of that, I guess, but all not too far, like a percentage or two.
Yeah.
I bet he's like 45%, or like I
would
bet.
you
I
would
would be
think.
willing to guess that no matter what his height is, that his wingspan is like 10 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think that is the takeaway from this, though, is like anyone that's putting too much stock into this and thinking, oh, that's why
That's why I'm not achieving my full potential.
That's probably you're worrying about the
Well,
wrong
and then on
too
top
much.
of it, most people that are decent deadlifters pull pretty close to the same either way. It's not like one's usually not 150 pounds better than the other one.
No.
I mean, maybe at the very top levels, but
Yeah. I can measure your femur now as the only other thing, and this has to do with the squat. And so this is your femur length divided by your overall height. The average person is 26% there. So if you're short, that would indicate that you maybe are have a better possibility of squatting with what people would consider optimal technique, or having the ability to keep a more upright torso.
if you have a short femur,
Short femur.
Okay.
Because a long femur
you have to just
puts
push
you
it back.
in that much
gotta
more.
lower your
yeah,
chest.
right. In order to keep the bar over the middle of your foot,
Yeah.
and so they would say less than 26% would obviously, but there's so many other factors, but this is just one.
Okay.
So I'm
so
assuming now when you measure Tommy's femur, I want you to do it from the inside. So I want you
It's
to
an
go
NC
from
measurement.
you go
So,
from
do I sit down or do I go into a squat?
from ball
Sit
crease
down with that about 90
ball
degree
ball
angles with your
crease to
ankle and-
kneecap,
That's
I
pretty
believe.
close right there, isn't it?
Yeah. So
Do you go from the bony protrusion again?
yeah. So I don't know.
I'd say I don't like. I'd see. Maybe is it
Like,
way back there? I
If
don't
you
know.
go,
It's
maybe
just like
that's into your ass.
It's like what your hip is.
Like,
I just
probably like
assume
the
like-
center mass
yeah,
of
like
your
the
body.
center?
So is that about there? Do you think?
Yeah, I'd say that's right about.
Okay, and then end of your knee. So it looks like right
So we
around
got
19.
We got 19
And this is 19 divided by.
overall height.
So that was 73.
Yeah.
26.
So that's average. And I was curious if maybe yours would be, because
I would
have
assume mine would be
way of
shorter,
keeping,
Because I have no problem staying pretty dang upright, especially for
right.
being low bar.
But that might also be factors of your good ankle mobility,
Mobility and just yeah,
putting the bar in the right spot, and all
and being
that.
so technically proficient at the movement.
I would agree with that. So
That looks like about center mass.
about there.
All right. Tyler's getting measured as we speak.
All right.
We're 20 and a half or 21.
20 and a half.
Maybe 20 and 3/4, I guess.
Oh, geez. We'll call it 20.35. Oops. No, and 3/4. I'm a fucking idiot.
7.35.
I went to college, but I didn't go. Divided by 78. 26.6.
Okay.
So
you're
regular.
Slightly. Was yours 26 even?
Yeah, 20. It was like
And when we're talking
26.02.
0.5%, that's just the difference enough moving the tape measure.
Oh, I was going to say,
like
I think you have to assume
Yeah.
like a 1 to 2% just in our measuring.
I can even
And
do
actually,
myself there, I bet
considering the fact that I'm lying about my height and I'm only 6'1", that's throwing all this off.
and I'm 20.
Tanner's 20.
So if I was to bet, I bet it's going to be close to 20 or 20 and a half. Maybe I'll say 20 and a quarter then.
Split the difference.
Yeah, and that's 27. So that's why I'm not a good squatter.
Is that why?
That's that percentage.
What's average?
26.
Oh, yeah. You're a percent above the
I'm
rest.
27.4, so that's probably why.
Yep.
Yeah, Tanner and his long femurs.
There's no other explanation.
But that's same way, like, if someone's digging into that much, like...
Yeah.
So what did we learn here? Not
nothing
much
really.
at all.
Yeah, I guess that is the takeaway, is, like, nothing, basically.
Like, chances are
I would guess, I mean, maybe if you were to do that as a screening for, like, a brand new lifter.
Yeah.
Maybe. You know what I mean? Like, coming, like, all right, if you want to... But even
But
then,
even
I
as a
think
brand new
need
lifter,
to
you just
try.
need to get better at you just need to do
Yeah.
it all anyways and get better at it.
Yeah.
Like, so what are their recommendations for squat? Is it squat stance they were giving you, or like bar position, or what were they trying to recommend?
Yeah, kind of all of it. So someone that has very long femurs, the gist of it is they are going to have more forward lean. So I guess what's helpful is if you do have you find out you have abnormally longer than average femurs, that don't expect that you're going
to stay
to
upright,
have the most upright squat all the time. You know, there's going to be some variance in the way everyone's is.
This would be a good guideline to know what to fight and what not to fight.
Right.
Like if you do have long femurs, don't try to scratch and claw for that upright torso, because it's just not going to be your jam.
And there's a big difference between an upright torso and a rounded back. Like those are very different. Like to a beginner, those probably are kind of hard to tell what is the difference here. But it's the same thing with deadlift. There's a big difference between like a rounded back and like a little curvature in your upper shoulder area.
Right. So I don't know. That's kind of interesting, but also at the same time not that important.
Where was this at? Where did you find this?
The one on
people want to look it up.
The deadlift one was on Elite FTS called Choosing Conventional or Sumo Based on Bone Structure. And I also saw they were talking if you really want to get specific about bone structure and actually knowing your lengths, through an X-ray you can actually figure out how long your femur is and how tall you are in comparison. And the other one was on it was a Greg Knuckles article. It was on Schwarzenegger.com.
That's a thing.
I guess so. That's also Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. What was it, open heart surgery?
Yeah. My question is, what was actually going on? Because they said he was having like an elective procedure, wasn't it? Like a minor elective procedure.
And something went
and
more
then
serious.
something went wrong, and they had to do open heart surgery.
Yeah.
And wasn't it?
They
It
haven't
was a
said-
pretty major one. I mean, open heart surgery is pretty
but
major.
I never heard anybody go back to like what got him under the knife to begin with.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Gender reassignment, guys. You heard it here first.
Well, I think weren't they going to? He wanted to be the first man to carry a baby to full.
I think maybe that was it.
Yep. I
would
think there was a
consider
movie.
getting a baby put
Wasn't he
inside
inspired
of
by
it.
a movie?
Yeah, Twins is that movie with Danny DeVito.
I think it was the other movie with Danny DeVito.
Kindergarten Cop.
You know, sometimes you just get inspired by a great film and decide to build your life around it, much like we did with Jingle All the Way.
Yep. Here we are, chasing down Turbo
Still
Man
jingling
dolls.
all the way. It's also April and a blizzard here.
Yeah. So it's never ending.
We're jingling the whole way.
Yeah,
to summer.
actually, we do have an open offer here to anybody who would like to pay to relocate us our families. You do have to compensate us for any lost wages. Like Tanner needs to make the same amount wherever we move. It needs to be somewhere with preferably no state income tax and no winter.
Yeah.
And also no weird people.
Oof,
or at
man.
least very few weird people.
This is a pretty demanding list you put together here.
But
Yeah.
they could
We
just
should
move
maybe
us-
get a compound somewhere with like 12 square miles of stuff.
Compounds
Yeah.
are cool.
Compounds
Oregon.
are pretty sweet. The Massenomics compound.
No girls allowed. We'd have people showing up for some reason.
Yeah. Chicks are for real losers.
One update on Larry. Larry, for those of you that listened to episode 104, Larry called in while we were recording, and he was working on the stereo for the gym. Well, for those that have been left in limbo, he
It's
got it
fixed,
fixed.
guys.
Yeah, special announcement. Yeah, the stereo is sounding good. He even we had a blown speaker and one that wasn't doing the best. Those were set to the the front channel. He switched it so that the good speakers were on the front channel. So the whole acoustic environment has really came
really
together.
popping.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything is really, really hitting hard. I was in there today again by myself because apparently no one else lifts there anymore.
I quit lifting.
Actually, I've had some weird thing going on. I can hardly put weight on my foot. I don't know what happened.
Really?
I just woke up on Friday and I was like, oh, my foot's really sore today. And I squatted and did everything and it was fine. And then I woke up on Saturday and I said, I almost can't walk today. And so I've just been kind of hanging low. So I don't know what's going on there.
Is it like gangrene?
Well,
Trench foot?
I mean, it's completely white and it looks like there's no blood flow, but I'm
Nothing to get yourself alarmed
I'm just
about.
assuming that's part of toughing it out and not being a. So yeah, I guess we'll find out one of these days.
Yeah. I would just ride it out.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't go to the gym so far this week.
Oh.
Kind of a bummer.
We should talk about our Arnold interviews that are out on YouTube right now. For those of
Yeah.
you looking for some more unreasonably high quality content here, we've got
That's the place for them.
we got the hot shit. It's been rolling out on YouTube.
They're coming out as literally just as fast as I could possibly get them out. They're coming out.
As fast as a home internet connection can go.
As fast as I can get them cut together while I'm on lunch break, and get one cut together before I go to bed, and get one.
Now,
There's constantly one uploading.
here's what we're figuring out, guys. We don't know how to do YouTube very much. Like, these videos are really good, and yet somehow the podcast episodes, which don't get a ton of views on YouTube
this
either.
is the crazy thing is people would rather listen to this and watch this for an hour than watch 3 minutes of us talking to Ray Williams. And when we
Now-
say us talking to Ray Williams, it's 3 minutes of Ray Williams talking, not
Yeah.
even us really saying
Yeah.
much.
It is so interesting that we have. I get that we don't have a ton of views on the podcast on YouTube because I mean, look at us, but we get a lot of listens, like way more audio downloads than we do views on the YouTube podcast, which I get. That's how I don't watch podcasts on
Yeah,
YouTube.
neither do I.
There's very few that I want to see. So, however, these interviews are really fucking good, and they're super high quality. So, check them out, but also like share them on your Facebook or something, and like tell people about them and such, because like YouTube doesn't work like if a bunch of people like the video, it doesn't just start. Nobody like you ever scroll down your YouTube feed. So like unless you're
I will
searching-
admit I do scroll
Do
down
you
my
really?
YouTube feed. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't ever use it for that, so I don't know. Like, I'm like, how did people have 500 million views?
Because guys, we're never gonna have the compound if you don't tell your friends about this whole thing.
So here's the deal: tell your friends about those. At the very least, like if you find a lifter that we interviewed that you'd like, just share it because it's a fucking. I think that goes quite a ways towards getting people seeing them.
And also, just if you're a regular listener to this and you're not subscribing on YouTube, you should. We put out, a lot of it's the podcast. That's the most regular video content. But then things like the Arnold here, and then we might do
Some equipment
a review
review
and
stuff
stuff like that. And there's
Yep.
usually decent videos. So help us get that subscriber number up there on YouTube. We could use the help.
We should get into some more equipment reviews again.
Yep, those are good.
I've got the. I've got them Titan yokes.
Yeah, you know
That'd
what?
actually
You
be
do
good
have
one to
a-
do.
So how have those been? What is your review of the?
Well, maybe you have to stay tuned to motherfucking YouTube. What? No, actually, like I've been pleasantly surprised. I haven't done anything super heavy with them, just because I just haven't. But I've done a lot of them. I mean, I think they're pretty stout. They're not as I would say the Rogue yokes that are identical to them, they are identical. There's no difference in quality whatsoever, other than some welds look not as good.
Yeah.
But like,
And you're a welding guy, aren't you?
yeah, no. But like, my thing is like, let's be real. I just don't think the welds that are on there are gonna break because they don't look awesome.
Yeah.
And so, and the Rogue one is literally twice as much money. So no fucking way. And
So
that's
what
before
type
shipping.
of prices are we talking here?
Like my yokes are the tall ones because I like to do a lot of overhead stuff with them also. And mine were
Tall,
like,
as in they can adjust higher.
like
Uprights are higher
mine go
in
up
there.
like about 8 foot or something like that with the uprights. Mine was I think $270 per yoke
So Rogue, you're looking.
with
It
free
is double
shipping,
the-
and the
yeah.
Rogue is $500 plus shipping.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's expensive shipping. And now if you don't need the height, if you just wanted to use the yoke,
You could get the cheaper.
you can get the
shorter.
lower one, and it's like $229 or something like that,
Yeah.
which is you just can't beat it.
That's really cheap for a piece of
and
solid
that's the thing
equipment.
now. What I tell people now is like, if you're looking for one piece of equipment for your garage, and you're going to lift and you want to get strong, that's your squat rack. That's what you bench out of. You can get a flat bench, a barbell, some plates, and you use that. You can still do yoke carries, some overhead
Because it has
stuff.
J hooks for
Yeah,
it. To
you
go
can
Oh,
up.
it does?
Yeah, you can get
Oh.
J cups with it, and so
I
like,
didn't know that.
yeah, they're. As far as I'm concerned, like, and we use the shit out of them at our CrossFit gym. Not so much for like I use them for carries and as yokes, but they just get used a lot as like a fairly sturdy squatting surface. You know.
Have you had a weld break on anything of
No,
any of them?
no.
Because I have seen Garage Gym
like
reviews
the-
has posted before with the
J
weld.
hooks have broke.
Yeah, that the J. Yeah, that's what I think has been breaking on some
Yeah.
is the J hooks, but you haven't had any problem with that.
you
whatsoever.
could
I
also
don't
literally-
slam my weight into my fucking
Right,
any rack
right.
like a dick. Like I
Right.
don't know.
You could also, can't you buy the Rogue J hooks if you wanted to?
Yeah, and
I
they'll
would
fit
think so,
identically.
yeah.
So, and I don't think there's a much of a price difference on that. And the other thing is like with Rogue is, yeah, so the Rogue yokes are made in America, but let's not act like Rogue isn't making a bunch of their shit in China. Like all of their bumper plates are made at the same fucking factory in China as every other place that makes Chinese fucking bumper plates. Like so much of their stuff is just farmed out and made in another country. Like even the new Rogue Echo bikes are made in fucking Vietnam. You know, like their new like high dollar. It's like it's supposed to be big, heavy duty. It's like it's made in fucking Vietnam. So that's not a big made in USA product. Rogue just is an American company. Now, whatever that means to you is whatever that means to you. But like, I'm certainly not spending double for a product that is the same.
Yeah.
Like that's so close that I expect Titan to get sued at some point. So like, I don't have the money. I don't have the money to be paying double.
Yeah.
Do you have the log too? Or
Yes. I also have 2 logs and the circus dumbbell.
So has there ever been anything with any of it that you've been like, oh, that doesn't
We should,
seem right?
you know, maybe
or-
we should go through like a thorough deal. So we could put together a couple minute deal on each one of them. But the logs are just some weird stuff. Like I'll refer to it as the women's log, the 10-inch log, and the men's log, the 12. The women's log has fatter hand grips than the men's log, and I have no idea why.
That seems counter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they were to be different, you would think it would be the other way around.
Yeah. And I don't know also if that's uniform across all of them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but however, they do have knurling on them, which I really like in a
Oh,
log.
they do.
I've never had a log with knurling on the hand grips. That was cool. Same thing.
how big is the log down at the gym, Tanner?
That's a 12.
Oh yeah, that 12
it
inches.
12?
Yeah,
Okay.
the big one
Yeah.
is 12. The little one's like 8.
I would say quality what like what I would expect for drops and breaks, I would say is pretty similar to that one. Like, you know, I'm willing to beat up mine a little bit because it's not that expensive,
Yeah.
truthfully. The circus dumbbell's a bit of a different story just because of the way you load them and drop them. Like, that's not as beefy. Like, you definitely got to be putting that down into, you got to be dropping that
Mats.
into crash pads for sure. It's also is a little close for somebody with hands my size because you're banging into the sides. But again, for the price, it's really hard to beat. I also have their Swiss bar, you know, their multi-grip bar.
Oh yeah.
And really like that one a lot. Again, you know, like we have the Elite FTS one at Massenomics. For my CrossFit gym, you know, there's just tons of people use them. Shit gets beat up, and also I'm poor. You know what I mean? Like I don't have sugarcoat.
But if
not
it's the
spending-
same thing too,
yeah.
you know, I mean,
and the nice thing with that bar too is that it has knurling.
oh yeah,
That
that's
is
cool
cool,
too.
Handles,
yeah,
which
that
is
is
nice.
nice.
'Cause that's my biggest complaint of that Elite FTS is
Yeah.
like it's kind of
It's like
I
smooth
gotta
piping.
fucking chalk up
Yeah.
quite a bit to hang on
Yeah.
to that bar when weight gets heavy.
Yep.
So yeah, I actually have a fair amount of Titan stuff. I've got some of their med balls. Those are weird in that they're smaller than the other med balls. Like they're not as big in diameter.
Yeah.
But they hold up. People
for
use
comparable weights, like a 20 pound to 20 pound, smaller.
I do think it's odd though. Like if you were to use those during, like, say, the CrossFit Open, how those would count, because it is not the same.
Yeah,
It is certainly is not quite the same.
Yeah.
There'd be an advantage, I think, to a smaller.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
ball.
Yeah.
So would you say you're gonna release a open hacks video next year?
Yeah.
Of the best equipment to buy to be able to get yourself that extra 2%.
To boost your open score.
I think, but all in all, I also do a lot of looking into what to buy from them and what not to buy from them. Right? I've heard nothing but bad stuff about their safety squat bar. That it's just flimsy and it's not very heavy. So I'm kind of like in the market for a safety squat bar. I'd like to get one.
Speaking of that, have you guys read or looked into much Chris Duffin's Transformer bar?
I fucking really want one bad. Yeah.
And so how does the handles are adjustable on it, correct? And then is it how does that thing on the
camber
is adjustable too? Yeah.
And then how does the thing? Because can't you change how the weights sit in relation to the bar on the end?
Yep, so that's that camber. So that piece, it's like an angle, and then it goes out to the sleeve, right? So you can pop that off and then turn it, and then put it back on and latch it in.
So what secures it though?
There's I don't know if there's like a cap or a clip or something, but they can't pull out unless you do it.
Okay.
So, but it's like I don't know if this is the right term. It's not the right term, but anyway, it like slides in. There's grooves, so it all slides in and locks in. So then you can turn it.
So there's like channels for it.
Yeah. But it's the cool thing I saw with that is for, let's say, for the average guy who maybe goes to another gym, really wants a bar like that. You know, it's like Big Brad hauls his fucking Duffalo bar in his Suburban all the time to take to the gym. He doesn't want to leave it there. Someone else will fuck it up, and it's his, and it's expensive.
Right.
With that Duffin's, with the Kabuki Strength Transformer bar, you can take the sleeves off, the cambered sleeves off, turn them around, and bring them in, and then because the handles are adjustable, so the whole thing is only the width of inside the sleeves, so you can hold it in one hand and you can like set it in the back seat of like any car. Yeah, and it'll fit in most trunks. Like it's kind of sweet. It's not it's not made the way it's made in order to be packed up small. It's not like
it's just a benefit of.
It's just one perk of it.
So what's the price on something like that?
It's a good question.
I would imagine it's like
I actually don't
north of 500, right?
Yeah, but I actually don't think that's for what that is. I think I would like 500 or 600. I think is pretty reasonable for it. I just don't know what I'll find out right now.
I'm sure it's not less than 500 or 600.
No,
I mean knowing what the other ones are.
But I would expect the quality to be as.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I can say on the new gen power bar that they're having an issue of the snap ring.
Yeah,
not the snap rings, but the
kind of the sticker decals on the end of the.
We're kind of peeling off or looking kind of
getting dinged up really easy.
So they were really quick about sending out new ones of that. Like
did they?
Chrome one, metal ones. I just haven't put them on yet. But.
Brandon Campbell has a video that discusses this, but it really is those end caps. I think on every other bar we have, they're super solid. Like I've never seen it be an issue.
Yeah.
And that was like from day one an issue with the Kabuki bars. Like, this really expensive bar is getting dinged up, and like about the only mark of branding on it is being destroyed.
Yeah.
But now they're replacing they're like chrome caps, aren't they?
Yeah.
They look really sharp.
Yeah,
they're cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to see those on there.
Yeah, that Transformer bar is only $500.
Wow,
like it's actually not that bad.
I would honestly have had to guess. I would have said $750.
That's what I would.
I mean,
because what's the new gen power bar?
$600. It's cheaper than that.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
Cheaper than Duffalo.
Yeah.
So it's actually, I mean, that's in my opinion, from what I've seen of that bar and what that bar is capable of, it's a pretty fucking respectable.
Yeah, that's a bar that you could own it yourself and like you could get a lot of use of it. That's when I'd worry about sitting around like a big gym that it would get. What would get done to it and what like it'd be like the Stone of Steel. Like it's so expensive and it has so many moving parts and stuff. Like someone doing it wrong and screwing with it could ruin it.
Somehow someone would find a way to do rack pulls with the Transformer. Yeah. It's like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Did you see Ray Williams? Was it the Stone of Steel?
Yeah, that was a Stone of Steel. Yeah.
And his form was like awful, and I don't know how much was in it, but either way, he just picks it up like it's nothing.
But it could have been nothing. It could have been 100 pounds or whatever. Like we don't know for sure what the weight was.
Yeah. Do they say with safety squat bars, do a lot of people say like Elite FTS has one of the best
that's
ones? That's kind of the gold standard.
I would really like to get one of those. They're $350 on sale.
Okay, that's still not too bad though for a somewhat
everyone
specialized
says
piece.
the pads on those
are the best.
Yeah, there's because like
it's easy for, and I get it. Like it's easy for that thing to mash out when you have that much weight.
Everyone says the Elite FTS one is the pads are head and toes above the rest. I guess that they never will start to ding in from your shoulders.
You haven't seen my shoulders.
But $350 isn't too bad.
No, it's
relatively.
not.
Speaking of $350, Tanner, is about $4,000 too much to spend for a monolift?
No, that's what they cost. I mean, yes.
That's exactly in the budget.
The Elite FTS
it's like
monolith is
$3,200, something like that.
Yeah, shipped is $3,900.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And then I started looking after especially when I started squatting like heavy-ish singles. Mm-hmm. I've never been strong enough to have the walkout ever concern me ever. And I remember talking to Dan Bell, and he's like, oh, I just don't want to fucking walk it out. It's fucking like it's a whole bunch of bullshit. It's scary. It's dangerous. And I never was. Not that I'm not near as strong as Dan, but my squat's just up now. And every time I get to where I'm doing like heavy-ish singles, I'm walking out and I'm like, I don't like this. I don't fucking like this. I want to be, there's like I've never craved a fucking just unrack and squat more than I did squatting last week. I was like, I texted Tanner afterwards. I was like, so monolift, huh?
Thing about the monolift, you have to have someone else.
You gotta have someone there
with you, and then the footprint that they take up is
huge,
enormous.
Yeah.
So Tanner's getting us a monolift here in about 2 weeks.
We do have a new Elite FTS bench press on the way.
It is on the way.
Well, no, I said on the way. It's been ordered.
Well, yeah. Okay.
It probably will not be on the way.
This is out of our hands.
Yeah.
This is exciting news.
Yeah. So
are we replacing old blue?
Yeah, the blue one's gonna go. This one is basically the same bench that's the Elite FTS
as made famous by Massenomics.
Yep, as made famous by.
Is it Massenomics red?
Yes, it is. It's matching red, but it's the hers to the his that's there now. So
it's going to be a little narrower in the back. Gotcha.
Yep. The pad on this one, it's the same material, so it's the grippy pad, but it will be 12 inches wide instead of the 14-inch wide bench that we have now. 12 inches wide is what USAPL is. So we're keeping it
USAPL legal.
Yep, and this one does not have band pegs on it. Is the other difference.
Which I think is fine.
Yeah, we need one with band peg. The odds of...
But, you're banded.
You're using bands? I was going to use bands.
Because we have so many conjugate lifters at our gym that are always...
Not sure, but I think I've only seen someone use the band pegs on the bench once, I think.
I think they were just playing around.
And that talking about prices of equipment and stuff there, I could have got, bench for... a comparable bench for probably 3/4 of the price for some other companies and stuff. But my theory is on that type of piece of equipment, I literally I don't want to buy something that I'm 3/4 satisfied with, and then in 2 more years,
or even 2 months from now, be like, well,
damn it,
yeah.
So with the bench, I know that we like that Elite FTS one that we have there now. So I was like, I'm just going to spend the money on that.
And that is one thing that like the feel of it does affect your like
touching
weights.
You're laying on
45-pound weights when they're on the bar doesn't really matter. Like those are all just like there's a difference between calibrated and not. But
the difference between laying down and benching out of the blue bench we have now, versus that Elite FTS bench is the difference between enjoying lifting and not enjoying lifting.
Yeah. Oh, you have an arch? Not anymore. We'll slide that right out on you. Yeah, I remember because we got so used to the night. Like, actually, when we first started using that blue bench, at the time, going from a YMCA bench to that blue bench, it's like,
whoa, is this a benches couch? Are literally like, like what Donnie Thompson talks about.
Yeah, they're like designed to fit between your shoulder blades.
Yes.
And that's from, at the time, someone that had an incredibly narrow back. Not that I have a big one now, but even then, I remember thinking like it was really easy to get off and for one shoulder to pop off the bench.
Yeah.
So like when we first got that blue one, it was like, this is amazing. This is how benching's supposed to go. And then once we got the red one, you could really start to get some tightness and some arch. You go back to the blue one, and I remember like my bench dropped like 30 pounds. It just nosedived.
Like who sprayed this with Pam?
Now people come into the gym, and if someone's on the red bench, they're just like, I'm going to warm up for a really long time until this motherfucker's done.
A couple people that I forgot that I mentioned or that I wanted to mention to shout out.
Did you guys see the guy from Canada wearing the Weekend Warrior shirt that he competed in the meet?
Stupid weights.
I think that's Kyle Hendricks, I think is his name. And he put up about a 2,000-pound total.
Yeah.
And that guy, to get that shirt, I think his parents were like in the States. He's from Canada. We're not shipping internationally. And they were in, I think, Arizona. But he needed to get it there in like 2 days or 3 days. And I was like, well, I don't think that's going to work. And he said, well, they're going to be in Michigan or some state north by the border. They're going to be there for a day, like on their way back. Could you ship it to a certain address there, and they'll be able to like stop and pick it up? So he really wanted that shirt. He's like, I really want it for my meet, to wear it for my meet. And luckily, I went and got it in the mail like right away after he said that, and got it on its way to Michigan.
And luckily no snowstorm came in and just completely ruined the schedule too.
So it got there and he got it in time. And, with anyone on here, I don't necessarily know how strong someone is, or, not to that point.
Based on what shirts they order, not really.
Right. Like,
we assume everyone has a 2,000-pound total if they're ordering our shirts.
Or they will.
Some of our followers follow so closely and comment and stuff. I start to, recognize them and know who they are, and some know really well and stuff. But he's one I didn't really necessarily know who it was. So, the thought in my head isn't usually like that this guy with a 2,000-pound total wants the shirt really bad. It's usually like
some guys about to go squat 285.
Yeah. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, damn, that's cool.
So Tommy and I, we were out at the bar watching the playoff basketball game. And I see this dude's lifts, and I was like, like he had just posted it that day, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, I'm like, holy shit! Like dude squatted 777.
A really good looks like he could have squatted 800.
Like they almost got better as they went.
And then deadlifted, or then what was the bench? I missed it. And then benched 451. And then went on and deadlifted 760 like it was nothing. Also had zero excitement about the entire process. That was one of my favorite things. So he's a K Hendricks Power.
So did I have? Is it Kyle Hendricks?
Kyle
But
Hendricks.
You should follow him. He's a really strong dude.
Really fucking strong dude. Yeah. But I don't remember where I saw it at.
Yeah.
In one of his deals, it was like, I can't even find it. But basically, how he like. Maybe it was in his Instagram story where they just showed him just walked out just stone cold, just ripped 760 off the floor, and then set it down and just like walked back away like nothing had happened.
Yeah. So that was cool. And then another thing I was going to mention: did you guys see Chris Weist deadlift 880 pounds?
Yes.
I keep forgetting that he's only 22.
Yeah, 22 years old, deadlifted 880 pounds.
Wearing a Huge Life shirt.
Yep.
Coincidence? Probably not.
No, it wasn't a coincidence. He told me beforehand that he was going to do it and that he was going to wear his Huge Life shirt. So
that's how it went down.
There you go.
And he told me, talked to him afterwards, he said he is going to deadlift 900. And I don't know the exact timeline on this, but he also told me that he is going to deadlift more than Forsaken Warrior someday. That's his goal.
Was that 909 or 930?
I think it's like 9.
I don't know. He's
got. I forget where the record.
He's got him for 1,000. So he's got to catch it.
Yeah. But his record now is what his goal is to get to.
Well, I remember between 22 and now, I've put hundreds of pounds in my deadlift, so he's probably good.
Yeah. It is crazy to think he's 22 and he is. I mean, probably any day he'll probably deadlift 900 pounds.
Yeah.
Like as a 22-year-old.
You got a good 6 months of training.
And he weighs about 275, give or take.
Yeah.
Did you see that video? Okay, it popped up on, I think it's like a Deadlift Till I'm Dead page. Did you see it pop up?
His
no, I don't. So this is like, it's the same thing. We've talked about this when Ray Williams wore the lift shirt, the Weekend Warrior, and I think he did like 828 for a double, and people don't get that. That's
you always got to go big when you wear the lift shirt.
Yeah, that's what he said. But then you look at the comments, and we just said like, you realize like the video's getting like some notoriety when people commenting, one, don't know who Ray Williams is, and then two, are trying to give Ray Williams form advice. And then you click on their page, and their profile is either one locked or two new deadlift PR 315, which. I'm not knocking a 315-pound deadlift PR, but you don't give advice to Ray Williams when you're doing that.
Pretty much nobody give advice to Ray Williams unless.
So I saw his video, like that Deadlift Till I'm Dead page reposted it, And a lot of people were hating on it, like
on Chris Wiest.
Yeah,
880.
like damn, that guy really knows how to round his back. See if he and I'm like, whoa, you don't know anything about deadlifting.
Like, that was a pretty fucking
and like some people were even
like,
calling him out on being jacked up, like, oh, he must think he's real tough. I'm like, who are these people?
Guys.
I didn't watch that and think anything about his form.
No. People don't understand. Here's what I found actually very, very often, and it is always people who are weak as fuck who have these comments.
And I know we all know this. It's just like you just forget, like
There's people that don't.
Well, what happens
you forget
is
there's people that are like that stupid.
People believe, honest to God, that a flat back
Like,
is this.
Yeah.
Like they believe like almost an arched back completely from the lumbar all the way up.
Or like
basically your spine in extension is a neutral spine.
Yeah.
And I was like, so that's when you see, especially CrossFit people, rotate the pelvis, big arch, eyes straight forward, and they frickin' just lift with their back. And it's like, oh, but your back was flat. It's like, well, no, your back was fucking just asking to get snapped in half that way. If you have a little bit of fucking tuck there, you're like ready for it.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't even get it. Like,
I don't know. Do you think there's anyone ever that's deadlifted 880 pounds and kind of doesn't have good technique? Like, does anyone get to like? Is that possible?
Right.
Like, I don't think
I will say the weirdest
technique.
The weirdest technique I've ever seen is that because I think he had the record for a little bit. Is it that big? It starts with a P. Like Pulowski or something, or I cannot think of his name now.
I'm not sure.
Give me a sec. He deadlifts it with an extremely straight-legged setup, and I've seen very few people at that level pull that off, and he always.
And the thing is, it's just hard to. How much critique can you give someone if they're like one of the strongest people?
Also, you're like when someone's gonna be like, "Oh, geez, it must be real tough after getting all jacked up." I'd be like, listen, if I deadlift fucking over 800 pounds, I am literally swinging my dick around the fucking.
The guy I'm thinking of is that Area Atia or whatever his name, and I don't even know how you say his Instagram handle, but he deadlifted 915, and he had, to me, one of the. I mean, it worked for him.
Yeah,
he had a pretty straight-legged setup.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, it's.
But then it's like, well, you deadlifted 915, so
he
I
had
guess,
a world record. What am I going to tell him to do?
You're doing.
I think that no matter how much you weigh, and no matter how tall or short you are, or what any of your other lifts are, if your deadlift is, and I think the cutoff is 800. Mm-hmm. If your deadlift is over 800, nobody gets to give you advice unless they deadlift over 800.
Yeah. And when I say that, I'm not giving him any advice. I'm just like, it's different than normal, but it works for him. So.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's always interesting. Like Dan Green's one, there was a whole bunch of shit on Elite. It was Elite FTS that posted about how Dan Green has a rounded upper back.
Right.
Well, a lot of people don't realize those guys have so much muscle there that it looks like
to fucking Dan Green.
Yeah.
Like he has probably 8 inches of muscle laid on top of his back.
KK,
same thing there.
He had an extremely rounded upper back, but
part of it is he's so damn muscular.
Yeah.
Like it's just there's so much meat there. It looks kind of rounded over.
But I mean, that's not necessarily unsafe. That's how like
that is a technique. Is a more rounded upper back.
They say some of those people, and that's the deal. Is especially with the upper back, as long as it doesn't move, you're fine. So if you can get in that position and be rigid, and they said the key is some of these guys don't have very long arms, or to get to the level where you're lifting that much weight, you need every leverage advantage you get. So a rounded upper spine is going to help
reducing
you
that range of motion
exactly.
a little bit.
So,
and if you look, their lower back is locked in, straight, like not moving.
I'm trying to find. I don't want to get out in front of this here, but I heard a deal. Was Larry Williams doing the U.S. Open this year?
I think so.
I just assumed.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, because I think he's going up to 308.
That's what I was about to say.
He wants to break the world record at 308. Because he's got 242 and 275, and he wants the 308 world record also, which I don't know. I think it might be Eric Lillibridge. I'm not sure.
I think so because I think there's been a few. I think there's been a little.
That's no easy pick. It's not like, all right, 308. Getting Eric Lillibridge's record too. It's like, I don't know. Like, are you going to get hurt first? Probably. Well,
that's the other deal. Yeah, he got hurt last year.
Yeah,
that's what's so interesting with Larry Williams. He got hurt in that meat last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I thought that was a pretty major injury.
Yeah, I was on a squat.
We were kind of like, well, I sure hope he can.
Yeah.
Make it back.
And then he came back and broke the 275 world record.
Yeah. And then did a bodybuilding show.
Yeah.
And now moving up to 308. I was just like, what the fuck?
Curious to see what Larry Williams looks like at 308 pounds.
Or if
scary.
is he gonna fill that out though? Like, is he gonna show up?
Maybe he's just
Like,
gonna
that's
be
still a lot of weight for
yeah.
him to go. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he walks in at 295 or something like that.
It'll be a matter of honestly though, like whether he does or doesn't get hurt though. I think of it, because that's so much more weight he's gonna try to put on the bar. And
because didn't he have a video the other day benching was it 575 for a double or something like that? And it's like you're benching clearly over 600.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a lot of weapons.
Yeah. He does Eric beat considerably in the bench, and he's probably
his squat is where he really gives it up.
Yeah, the squat is the big difference. It could be even if Larry goes and squats a little over 800 pounds, Eric Lillibridge is squatting 1,000 pounds.
But at the U.S. Open, do they lift in wraps or does it sleeves?
There's both divisions, I think.
And it all depends on what it also depends on what Eric can do in a meet.
Yeah,
he does seem to leave a little bit on the table when it comes to.
But just to beat his record, Eric's not lifting in the U.S. Open, but Larry said he wants to beat the all-time world record.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so he wants to
He's
beat
got to put the whole thing together.
Yeah. What Eric, and I don't know that his goal is necessarily this meet. Maybe that's a longer term. Maybe this is one.
Yeah.
One stepping stone to get that, and which I would have a hard time doubting. Betting against him.
Yeah,
but I also have a hard time betting against what Eric Lillibridge has already done too.
I probably wouldn't put a lot of money against Williams.
Right. Seems like he kind of can do whatever he wants.
His bench keeps moving and his deadlift keeps getting better, and it's just if he figures out, and I think his squat's still moving too. He just doesn't post a ton of videos, but I would assume if he can get that clicking, then he's gonna be pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
Speaking of pretty dangerous, it's time for us to wrap up this week. Did we have any big reviews we got to get to?
Nope.
All right.
Okay.
Way to go, guys.
Nice
fucking work.
Blew our wad on that good one last week.
We were really proud of you last week, and then, whatever.
Then you come and let us down.
Yeah, it's whatever.
So if you could give us a review on Apple Podcasts, that would be greatly appreciated. We've gotten quite a few over the days, but we're not satisfied there. We want more.
Yeah, or fucking don't. Whatever.
See if we care.
Yeah. We'll just bitch about you again next week. So that'll do it for us, though. Make sure you go to Massenomics.com. In the store, you're going to find all the shirts, hats, all the coolest stuff that Tanner's wearing. That none of that's available for sale. No. Things that look similar to those things.
Similar, but
I got my
Slater's Hardware.
Yeah.
I like that.
Got to be a real OG if you want one of these.
Yes. The one thing that we've been selling a lot of is the banners. So I don't know if you guys know this, but the lift shirt. That design is available and in the Weekend Warrior banner for you to hang up in your home gym, in your bedroom, in your bathroom.
And we actually have been selling a lot of those. We always say that, and half the time it's a lie just to fill you in on that. Whenever we say that things are going really well, or everyone,
they're actually not.
Just a sad lie that we tell ourselves.
But that is going up in a lot of home gyms across the United States. So get in on that.
And also, we do have some surprises popping in the store here soon.
We do real soon.
So if you're a person that enjoys
things,
high quality merch,
we've got the merch.
The
Weekend Warrior T-shirt, our old favorite, has been fully restocked. Mini quantities in every size available now. So if you came in the past looking for one of those and it wasn't available in your size, that is not an issue today.
I still haven't seen anyone take engagement photos or family photos with everyone wearing one yet.
I want someone
you could be the first person to do that.
Yeah,
my wife has clearly said that is off the table. It's not that I haven't. It's not that it hasn't been discussed. So,
But yeah, keep your eye out on the store. If you have any questions about that, you can email us at getbig@massenomics.com. That's also where we field any sponsorship, business requests, stuff like that. So email again is getbig@massenomics.com. You can find us on Facebook. Make sure you like us, follow us on Facebook. YouTube.com/Massenomics. Click subscribe. Share all the Arnold videos. Just blow up your feeds with that shit. We need to get those out there. We kind of tied up a lot of time and money and personal resources into making that awesome stuff that y'all need to help us get that out there. So, that'll do it for us this week, though. I'm Tyler. You can find me on Instagram at Tyler F. and Stone. That's Tyler EFF Stone. Tommy?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
And Tanner?
The Massenomics Instagram page at Massenomics.
All right. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you next week, and stay strong.
Later.
You just heard the Massenomics podcast. With your ears. You're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.